And we're looking at a signature Native American item here, kind of an adornment. It's a hairpipe breastplate, or a bone breastplate. So this requires some explanation, probably for a lot of you. Meanwhile, a lot of you recognize this, I'm sure. Anyone who's ever seen a Western, that has a Native American in it, probably has seen a character wearing one. This is a really great example, and I'd never seen one of any quality in person. This one's not particularly big, as you can see. They were made in a variety of sizes, and to a certain extent shapes, although kind of the vertical rectangle is definitely the most common, but sometimes it was wider, as you can see here. Sometimes it covered much more of the user. First off, this is not armor. It's really more of a decoration. It might come from a piece of functional armor, might be designed the same way, a pre-existing one that didn't use the same materials. So let's take a nice up-close look here while I talk about the materials. Native Americans were fond of hairpipe beads. These are long tubular beads that could be made out of shell. Those were highly prized, things like that. But these were individual decorative pieces. You might just stick one in your hair. Well, as you can imagine, colonists started discovering that they could make these and trade them with Native Americans out of materials that Native Americans wouldn't have, like glass. Speaking of glass, this particular specimen has these small round mirrors, some intact, some broken. Some of the round beads that you're seeing here along the center are made out of that material as well, others of brass. But we've got these signature hairpipe beads on both sides. And you can see with this close-up the buckskin cords running through them, tying this all together, right? So they're like hollow dowels. Stringing them together like that and forming a breastplate was an invention of the Comanche. That happened right in the middle of the 19th century, and this new decoration spread rapidly. Well, this meant that the market exploded, right? They were much more in demand than they were before. I mean, a single breastplate was going to have as many of these beads as a large group of people would have before. So this is when bone comes into the picture, at least as a standard for creating these, because it was readily available, it was durable, and it didn't take as much time to create as the previous materials. Definitely not the origin story I was expecting, and you probably didn't either if you didn't already know about these. They're not an ancient design, not the actual breastplate. They're not armor, and they were actually a very recent invention in terms of overall Native American history. I should mention that these were particularly popular with Plains Indians. That's where they were first invented, and this one here is from the Crow Nation. It's a great specimen, as I mentioned, and a very interesting piece of Native American art. Thanks.